Hello, fourth grade students. It's Miss Lipiansky, and we are going to do a 1-point perspective lesson from a street view. So that means it's eye level. Wherever you would be standing in a city or street or town, it's from that person's perspective. Another way that perspective drawings can be done is, say, a bird's eye view, as if you were looking from on top of the city, like a bird would be looking down. So today's a street view. We're gonna start with a horizon line, and I have my paper horizontal. So I'm gonna put my ruler across, and I spread out my fingers to hold it tightly and draw a line. Now we're going to add a point in the middle. This point we call our vanishing point, and that means everything that we draw is going to look like it's going toward that point, and it looks like it disappears or gets smaller as it gets toward the vanishing point. So those lines that come together, those are called converging lines. So let's go ahead and start with the street going down the middle. All you have to do is pick two spots at the bottom of your paper. I'm marking tiny little marks where you want your road to start. And I'm gonna line up that point with the vanishing point. Okay, you want to be able to see the vanishing point. And now I'm going to connect. I'm going to move over here and do the same thing. Make sure I'm lining up the 2 points. All right, so there is our road disappearing into the distance. Now we can add some lines going down the middle. And I'm going to start with a really light line and later erase parts of it. Okay, I'm gonna make like the street divider lines that you see. So now that I've drawn 2 lines to give it thickness, I'm going to make the stopping point for different lines. I'm also going to make my street dividing lines get a little smaller or shorter as they go toward the vanishing point, because things that are far away look smaller. Okay, next we're gonna add a sidewalk. This is gonna go toward the vanishing point as well, of course. And I'm gonna measure so that I have my sidewalk the same on both sides. So let's see, on this side, I'm gonna mark an inch. If you don't have a ruler and you're using something else as a straight edge, like a book or a magazine, that works too, and you can just eyeball the distances. You could literally just measure it with your fingers to make sure they're the same. And now I'm gonna connect those marks to the vanishing point. Okay, there's the beginning of our sidewalk. Okay, this part gets a tiny bit tricky, so I'm gonna zoom in. Since the sidewalk comes up and over, right, it's a little bit higher up than the street, we're gonna show that ledge of the sidewalk. So again, I'm drawing a line from the vanishing point, and I'm drawing it close to the street edge. Let's mark about the same distance. There we go. Now we're gonna divide up the sidewalk. You can use a ruler for this if you want. I'm making big pieces, big sections, and then slowly less. Or slowly closer together is what I mean. That's part of the effect of perspective, is things when they're farther away, they look smaller and get nearer to each other. Okay, now we're gonna draw a building, and I'm gonna start with a big rectangle on this side. It's gonna go from above the horizon line and reaching below. So this is our wall, one side of the building. You need to erase the part of the horizon line that crosses over because it's hidden behind this building. That's why we always draw lightly, so we can erase easily. Okay, Now this part's really fun. It makes a cool effect. We're gonna start from one corner. Oops. We're gonna start from this corner and line it up to our vanishing point. Now the other corner. And I'm connecting any corner that we say sees or has access to the point. Like if I had corners over here, they wouldn't see because they would have to cross over onto the building. So only these ones are in access to the point. Okay, next step. We're going to make a line here that is the end of the building, and it needs to be parallel to this line. That means it needs to go in the same direction. So I'm gonna take my ruler against that line and then move it to keep it straight, and I choose where I want to end this, okay? And I draw my line connecting from these converging lines. Now I can erase the converging lines that go beyond the building. And I'm gonna erase this horizon line that's hidden by the building. So I'm leaving this part of the horizon that we still see. All right, if you need to review this, just go ahead and rewind the video a little bit. I'm going to be moving on now. So next we're gonna do a window on this side. Any doors or windows that you add on the flat side of the building that's facing you, you can just draw like straight on regular square or rectangular shapes. So I'm gonna make a window up here. Okay. And if you want, you can add a window frame around it, a window sill. I'm gonna add a center divider on my window. Okay. And I'm gonna say this is a really big building. So this could be a window that's up high, and I'm gonna have another small one down here. Maybe this one will be like the lobby has a long window. I'm gonna actually change this one into being two separate windows, like on different floors. Okay. Now if I wanna make a window or a door on this side of the building, we have to keep it going toward the perspective, the vanishing point, because this side of the wall is in perspective. I'm gonna choose a spot where I want the top of the door to be. Okay, that mark is where I want the top to be. I'm going to connect that to the vanishing point. Okay, now I did this part here really lightly, so it's easy to erase. And I'm going to make the sides of the door with vertical straight lines. This part gets tricky. Don't make these lines, don't make the side of the door lines at any angle. Those are totally vertical, totally straight. Only the top of the door goes toward the vanishing point. Okay, I'm gonna do some windows up here. Same thing. Now it's going above the horizon. So we're gonna make a line that goes toward the vanishing point. I'm gonna do the same thing for the top of the windows. And then vertical lines. All right, there we go. We can add a doorknob, or maybe this will be like a double door. I'll add another vertical line. Some handles here. On this side, we're gonna make another style of a building that has a roof a little bit like a house. And I'm also gonna show you how to draw trees in perspective. So let's start with our rectangular shape over here. Erasing this part of the horizon line. Okay, this side is still our flat side that's facing us. So I'm gonna add a triangular roof, and mine's kind of going off the page. So I'm gonna have the top point be really close to the edge. It really depends where you placed it, okay? So now it kind of looks like a house. or just a building with a slanted rooftop. Now all of these points, 1, 2, and 3, they all can see the vanishing point. There's nothing getting in their way. So we're going to connect all of those. And that looks pretty cool. It looks like the whole building is disappearing in the distance there. Okay, so now again, we have to make parallel lines to the flat side of our building to end the shape. So this one is going to be vertical. And this one's going to be more tricky. It needs to be parallel to this shape. So this is at an angle. So I'm going to line up my ruler with this angle and then move it until it intersects with this line down here, lines up with that. And then I draw that roof. See, these two are the exact same angle, and these two are the exact same angle or direction. Now we erase the part that goes behind the house or building, and we erase the extra converging lines that we don't need anymore. Perspective drawings are one of my favorite projects because they come together like magic. Okay, and then you could add windows and other details on it like we did over here. Now what I want to show you with the trees is we'll have a tree here and up here. If they were the same kind of trees, like all planted in a row to look very neat, they would look smaller as they get farther away. So I'm going to choose where I want the top of my tree to go. So let's draw a tree coming here. I'll show some of the roots coming out of the ground. It's coming in front of this building. So I'm going to erase parts of the building that are covered. Okay, and take some time to add leaves, whatever you like. You don't have to add the trees. I'm just showing you an option. You could do this same thing with like a street light or signs. All right, so this is the top of my tree. I'm gonna make a light line from that going to the vanishing point, and then the same with the bottom to the vanishing point. So now this area is where I could put other trees that are farther away. So if I have one over here, and it's stopping around this line, if I want to say that these trees are roughly the same size. Okay, and then I could do a really tiny one back here. This one's getting super far. Okay, I'm going to erase these lines I made. Okay. We can add some other details now, maybe some clouds in the background. Make sure your lines are neatly erased. And there we go.